Today I'm going to give you a tour around my WordPress page. To start off, here's my home page. I started off by putting my logo that I created for my exercise 3 along with a slideshow with a variety of pictures. These pictures have a variety of pictures that I taken in different categories I wasn't able to include in the different exercises that we did throughout the semester. The next page that I created was my About page. And in my About page, I just talked a little bit about myself, about what I do and what I like to do. Right. And the next page I created was the Communications 337 page. And I created the 3 exercises as my submenus. So to start off is my visual communications or the photo essay exercise 1. I started off by talking about what the goal of exercise 1 was, and then I talked about the process. So include um, I didn't include all of the different elements of design. I just included the ones that I took multiple photos for. So, for example, like form, I had the different photos, or texture, I have multiple photos that I took, and I just included why I decided to take them and like the problems I had while I was taking the photos. For color, I decided to talk about why I chose to take it the way I did. Um, I could have chose to include this picture or this picture in my final product, but I explained why I decided to go with the black and pink. And then I have the final product and my story right here. And on the bottom, I have what I learned or what I would have done differently. Then I'm going to exercise 2. I have my PSA. And I have the same concept. I have the goal and the process. I pretty much did the same thing for each page or each exercise. So I have the goal and the process. So I started off with the storyboard for the original PSA. So I showed how the original PSA, what that looked like. So I showed it in a thumbnail form first, and then below it I showed it as the storyboard layout after putting it together. And if you click on it, um, it makes it larger and you can see it in its full form. And then I did the same thing when showing our version of the storyboard, except for this one, I kind of just put a little description of the challenges that me and my partner faced in doing this exercise and some things that we would have done differently or some things that I would have done differently. And I did the same thing. I put the layout of the storyboard with the details after showing you the individual photos. And on the bottom, I did the same thing as exercise 1 and said what I would have done differently. And then for the last exercise, the branding exercise, I did the same thing, the goal of what the exercise was for, and then for the process. And for this page, I decided to include like 2 different photos. And these 2 photos aren't in my final product. So I decided to include 2 photos that weren't in my final product just to change it up a little bit. So in this description, I decided to talk about what the point was of this exercise and what I got out of it, and what I learned and what I liked best out of it, because I feel like out of this exercise, out of all 3, this was the most beneficial one for me. And right below it, I have the final product. And underneath that, I did the same thing and explained what I got out of it, what I learned from it, what I would have done differently, and I explain why I enjoyed this exercise the most. And that is the tour of my WordPress.